Jason Morgan, the ABC soap opera's General Hospital predictor, might lose his connections with both of his adolescent boys as a result of his deeds. Let's discuss Jason Morgan's Steve Burton, major GH comeback, and what's happening with his family. Is he going to witness the other son turn against him and lose his legal rights to one son? Let's examine the situation with Stone Cold and his disintegrated family. Thus, Jason sees a third young guy as a son in addition to his two boys. His first child, Michael Corinthos, Chad Duell, was raised by him. You might remember that Carly Corinthos Spencer, who is now Laura Wright, lied if you were watching at the time. She wished for Sean Cannon's character, A.G. Quartermain, to remain unaware that he was her father. She so tricked Jason into saying he was Michael's biological father. Michael Morgan was actually his original name when he was christened. Carly was admitted to General Hospital with postpartum depression. Thus, Jason sees a third young guy as a son in addition to his two boys. His first child, Michael Corinthos, Chad Duell, was raised by him. You might remember that Carly Corinthos Spencer, who is now Laura Wright, lied if you were watching at the time. In other words, she essentially turned around and left Michael in Jason's care. Michael spent the most of his time with Jason, who raised him until he was around a year and a half old with assistance from Kimberly McCullough's Robin Scorpio. Then, Robin exposed Carly's deceit. AJ discovered that he was actually Michael's biological father. However, in terms of paternity, Stone Cold unquestionably views Michael as his firstborn son, and their relationship is still going strong today. Michael recently promised to assist Jason in any way he could. Jason's father-son relationships with his two biological sons, Danny Morgan, Asher Antonizin, and Jake Weber, Hudson West, are more problematic though. It's also intriguing to see how things have progressed since his resurrection. And it looks like this man and his two sons have a very difficult path ahead of them. There are actually 5 years between Danny and Jake, despite the fact that they appear to be playing at about the same age. Thus, Jacob Weber was the first biological son born to Jason. When Jason and Elizabeth Weber became pregnant, Elizabeth Weber, Rebecca Herbst, was married to Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson. He was with Kelly Monaco's character, Sam McCall. However, fans of General Hospital for a long time will remember that they both had one-night stands and relationship problems. Liz kept Jason's pregnancy a secret from him for a very long period. Her union with Lucky had grown stronger, and the hitman's life in the mob was too dangerous. He eventually gave in and permitted her to raise their boy as her husband's child rather than his own. After she and Lucky broke up, Jason spent around a year raising Jake as his father. After that was smashed by the mob, he withdrew and allowed Lucky to raise him at General Hospital. At one point, when Jake was thought to be Jason and dated Liz, Drew Kane, then Billy Miller assisted in raising Jake. Jake was finally getting to know Danny as a brother and Jason as a father from late 2018 to late 2021, when Jason allegedly passed away once more. Jake Weber basically only knew his father for those 3 years, and that was before he unexpectedly returned from the grave, presumably after shooting Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprodna. His son views him as a prime suspect, even though Liz doesn't appear to think he could have shot Dante. And his brother Danny got into a fistfight over it. Liz has shown nothing but appreciation for Jason's return, even if he is a suspect in Dante's shooting. After all, he came back for their kid Jake. Sam, however, sees things quite differently and isn't at all content with her ex on General Hospital. Therefore, Sam gave birth to her son with Jason 5 years after Jake was born. Danny Morgan was born on June 1, 2012, and was named after her loving deceased brother. Sam believed that Danny's biological father was James Franco's character Franco Morgan, who had set up a bizarre rape scene during her and Jason's honeymoon. By the time she gave birth to Danny, who was abducted from her at birth as part of a baby exchange plan, she and Jason had broken up. Even after they received their child back, Jason continued to think Danny was Franco's child. Then, when their infant was 6 months old, he was shot and deemed dead. Sam discovered that Danny was actually his on General Hospital immediately after his death was assumed. It turned discovered that a DNA test switch had been used to deceive them by Heather Weber, then Robin Matson. Similar to Jake, Danny was hung out with Drew Kane during his presumptively Jason days. However, the actual Jason returned to Port Charles when he was 5 years old. By the end of 2018, he had re-established contact with Sam and was hung out with Drew Kane during his presumptively Jason days. However, the actual Jason returned to Port Charles when he was 5 years old. By the end of 2018, he had re-established contact with Sam and was Danny's functioning father. But in Greece, 3 years later, he was once more thought to be dead. In other words, prior to this most recent complex visit to General Hospital, each of his sons spent just 3 of their many years with the real Jason Morgan, even though they knew he was their father. Remember that he had no intention of returning home. In order to avoid going to jail, he was working off the books for Jagger at the FBI on the Pikeman investigation, not to protect anyone else. Furthermore, it's likely that one of his boys will now decide he doesn't want to spend time with Jason. Additionally, the other son's mother can forbid their relationship. Will he ultimately lose them both? Sam lost it on Jason when she found out that he had risked their son's jail by letting Danny assist him at the Quartermain boathouse. She can't believe he put their son in danger like that, even if she believes him when he says he didn't shoot Dante. Sam lost it and screamed at him to get away, saying he posed a threat to their son. Would Sam, however, go so far as to obtain a court order? Perhaps. However, it doesn't appear like she will require one. If Sam instructs Jason to avoid Danny, he most likely will. After that, Sam calls Danny's father a disappointment and informs him that he will never have to see him again. Regarding Jake, he doesn't seem to be considering going out with Jason and isn't showing him any mercy. On General Hospital this week, Jake and Danny even got into a physical altercation over Jason. In less than a month since returning to General Hospital, the mafia enforcer has already threatened to arrest one son and incited a fight between them. Not exactly the kind of father I want to be. Michael is the only son Jason has reportedly been a good father to. In order to keep him safe when Michael was incarcerated for the murder of his terrible stepmother, he even went to prison. It looks like Jason, Danny, and Jake have a difficult road ahead of them. If I were to speculate, I may say Danny might sneak out and see Jason in defiance of his mother. Jason might, however, advise him to heed his mother's advice and keep away. Regarding Liz and Jason's son, she could advise him to give his father another chance. If he doesn't want to visit his dad, though, she won't force him to. We will have to wait and observe the outcome. However, Jason's return is unclear this time. It also serves to remind viewers of how little he has done to involve himself in his children's life. See how everything turns out for Jason Morgan and his teenage boys by continuing to watch the ABC daytime drama.